660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com.
We return to Ladies Can We Talk with host Debbie Georgatos on 660 AM The Answer.
Hello, welcome back to Ladies Can We Talk. Okay, Dorinda and Carrie are over here singing along with our music. We love our new music with Krista Branch. It's great. And we are in this last segment of our first hour. And as I mentioned at the start of the show, we just have a really packed first hour with guests. And coming on air right now with us is Jacki Pick. Hi, Jacki.
Hello, Debbie. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing great this evening.
Okay. Well, I will tell you that for a variety of reasons, the schedule got really jammed. And so I want to talk with you now, but I'm hoping, I'll just plant the seed right now. I'm hoping you might be able to hold on over the break and continue into our second hour, because there's several things I want to talk with you about. Are you able to do that?
I sure can.
Oh, yay. Okay. So now I can slow down. I was otherwise going to have to speak in hyperspeed. Okay. Well, first I should say Jacki Pick is a friend. She is the host of a radio show, The Jacki Daily Show, and she also works for the NCPA, which is one of our favorite organizations, a political think tank, whose mantra is America's think tank. Jacki, quickly before we get into this whole UN conference, what do you do at NCPA?
So I'm the Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer there. So I just oversee the day-to-day operations. And I also head up the energy practice, which is very unusual. So because I came in with that background, they asked me if I would take that pillar of NCPA, and that's what I do when I'm not paying bills and payroll.
Okay. And then would you also, before we launch, and we really are going to talk about the UN conference, but tell our listeners, if you would, about your radio show.
So I've got a show. It's on Glenn Beck's The Blaze and also on Sirius XM and iTunes. The show is all about energy and primarily fossil fuels, simply because that's where the controversy is, that's where the action is, and I find that's pretty red meat. That's the kind of stuff people really want to know about. So I basically try to make it conversational so that even if you don't know anything about energy, you can listen to the show and understand what's going on and why you should support U.S. energy production robustly.
I like that, robustly. That's a good word. Well, I know, Jacki, you're a lawyer by background, but you also have quite a bit of background in the energy world, too. So you're really you're an expert with respect to traditional energy, fossil fuels, and your show is just a tremendous source of information for people wanting to understand all the kind of pros and cons of the alternative energy and new green energy, right?
It is. We do talk about green energy, and although my family had a background in fossil fuels and nuclear, I actually have some experience doing solar deals. So I know something about that, too. I will tell you I'm very clearly 1,010% pro-fossil fuels and pro-fracking and all that kind of thing. I put most of my focus there because, frankly, that is going to be our future for decades to come, no matter what else is going on. I mean, there are 10,000 brilliant people, I'm sure, out there working on renewable solutions. But right now, even if we all were on board and we started today and tried to roll out the entire world to be renewable, it would take about 20 years to do that, to change the infrastructure and so forth. So that's why it's kind of visionary in my eyes, having worked in it myself. So I really talk probably 80% about fossil fuels.
You know, we've done several shows actually on Ladies Can We Talk about energy and understanding the just importance of fossil fuels and how really fossil fuels transformed the world from being it transformed transportation and therefore the ability to get things to people around the world, get medications and food, and just it lifted the standard of living for people around the world once we developed and refined fossil fuels and the ability to transport goods and services. It was a transformative thing for humans to figure out, is how to use fossil fuels for energy, which I know you know. But I want to turn and talk about the UN conference. So right now, President Obama, I guess he's back, but he was over in Paris at the UN climate conference. And I think there's a great deal of trepidation on the part of many people in America about What is he going to commit to, and what is it going to do to us? So I guess I wanted to start with, basically, there was a report out of Paris that some draft agreement was on the table being discussed. Do you have any, and I don't know if you've been able to follow it closely enough, but what is it? What's the draft agreement look like, and what's it going to do to America if we went down that road?
Well, the only good news is that the draft agreement is mostly aspirational, as is just about everything that comes out of the United Nations. So the first thing is don't panic, because actually most of what goes on there is never implemented, never fulfilled. The countries never come through on their obligations. It's kind of just an opportunity for a lot of good press. I mean, when you stop and think about, or good in their eyes, you stop and think about the fact that the UN Human Rights Commission was traditionally led by countries like Iran, Libya, Sudan.
Good point.
You know, right? So in real life, most of what goes on at the UN is a whole lot of talk and photo ops and things like this. So the first week was aspirational. The truth is nothing got worked out of any consequence. None of the hard issues, which is when are we committing to doing what and who's paying for it, of course. Those are the things that no one came to agreement on. So this next week is being hailed as a week of compromise. And again, that too is aspirational, because really no one, everyone's okay with the talk. Almost no one is in agreement about who's paying for all of this. So, except Barack Obama, of course, who's going to volunteer us to do that.
I was going to say, I think we're paying for anything he comes up with. We should probably do, so we stay on track, because I'm so grateful that you could come back after the break, because I'm trying to watch the clock here and be do the right thing with our break time. We're talking with Jacki Pick, who is, she's with NCPA. She also is a radio talk show host herself, the Jacki Daily Show. She's an expert on fossil fuel energy, and we're going to turn after this top of the hour break to talk about the UN Conference on Climate Change, or as I've been calling it, the Conference on Climate Hysteria. But I do want to talk about just the cost and what's going to mean to America. And so if you can hold on and come back after our break, this is Debbie Georgatos and Dorinda Randall and Carrie Kelman. Ladies, can we talk on 660 AM The Answer? Come back after our break.